Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh. It's Mario Monday. So we're going to be talking Mario, and I'm hoping this one doesn't get me in trouble because I know that the community as a whole is really, really wanting a 3D Mario. I don't think it's happening. I think we have all the evidence we need to see that it's not happening, but we'll get into it. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys kind of an episode overview here with Donkey Kong Bonanza launching on Switch 2 this July. Nintendo's platforming icon is front and center, but there's no sign of Mario. In this episode, we're going to break down why there might be no 3D Mario in 2025. What's next for 2D Mario in its 40th anniversary year? The case for Mario Maker 3 and a new Mario sports title, and a look at support studios like 1UP Studio and NST and what that means for Nintendo's release roadmap. So we got a lot to cover. Okay, a lot to cover. I want to say what's up. I see Cryptic is here. Aaron, Joey, Sunshine. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Aaron, happy birthday. It says it's my birthday. Love that. So, Sunshine says, I thought you would have come back with a tan. I was very, very good with the sunscreen and surf shirts. So, you know, I did well. So, I've been doing research, guys. That's why I'm late, honestly, because I wanted to put a good thumbnail together, and I've been researching, and so I don't know what's gonna happen with 3D Mario. So we're gonna kind of dive in here, okay? Joey says it'll be announced, but March 10th, 2026 release date alongside the movie. I don't think so. I don't think so. So we'll dig into it. We'll dig into it, and then you can tell me what you think. So who's making what? 3D Mario. Studio. Nintendo EPD. Group number 8, Tokyo. Okay. Key games: Super Mario Odyssey, Bowser's Fury. Current focus: Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I played and had a little fun with Crawler on Twitter, because he's like, did you get in? He messaged me. He's like, did you get invited? Yeah, I got invited to Walmart to go play Bonanza. So if you guys are unaware, if you want to go try Donkey Kong Bonanza right now, Target, Walmart, and Best Buy have it set up in their kiosks. You can play for 15 minutes. I see Attack the Backlog is here. Make sure to go subscribe to Attack the Backlog, you guys. Great content from that channel. So digging into this a little bit more now. So the support teams for Nintendo EPD group number 8 is 1UP Studio, Nintendo Software Technology, NST. All right, those are two of them. All right. So from what I can find, all hands are on Bonanza, meaning no 3D Mario this year, or likely even by the end of fiscal year 2025-26. That's March 26th. So, and when this news hit, I mean, I'm thinking a lot of people are probably thinking this, right? Like when we found out Bonanza was being developed by EPD group number 8, I was like, okay, 3D Mario must be out of the picture. Now, does that mean we don't get some kind of announcement? I mean, I would assume so, but like, I needed to find out for myself who worked on Odyssey, who worked on Bowser's Fury, and then who was doing Bonanza. And when all this came to light, I'm like, well, how are they working on a 3D Mario? And we'll keep going here. I've got a lot there's a lot to unpack. So all hands are on Bonanza, meaning no 3D Mario this year. NST and 1UP are still support only. No signs of a parallel Mario project in development. That doesn't mean that it's completely out of the picture, but as of right now, and I mean, obviously, Nintendo's there's not gonna be too many signs, but there's nothing there as of right now. EPD Group 8 will likely begin planning the next 3D Mario after Bonanza ships. Potentially. Okay, potentially. So Cryptic says no 3D Mario because he is in Bonanza and he will be a last second playable character like how we played. Oh, I'm not saying that out loud. Spoiler alert. So I'm watching you. So if this is the case, it could be a very long time until we see a brand new 3D Mario. Okay. It could be a while. What are some chances? What are some other possibilities? Well, a potential remake of of Galaxy 2. A potential remake for Mario 64, right? There could be a remake of a 3D Mario game. But as far as a brand new 3D Mario game, as of right now, to me, it doesn't seem very likely. And I know that seems crazy. And I know, like, I know when Johnny Bo, if he hears or watches this episode or listens to this episode, he's going to have words for me. He's going to have words. But where does it fall in? Right? So looking at the chat here, Attack the Backlog says, we see young Pauline. I wonder if we see young Mario. That's something I've mentioned on the show before. You know, if young Mario ends up being a thing. Nady Nay says that's a total miss for me with no Mario. Well, it may not be no Mario. We'll get into it. Cryptic says, what if it's easier to get another Mario Wonder 2? Maybe get some more 2D Mario to fill the gap. Well, the next thing on my list here is 2D Mario. The studio is Nintendo EPD Group number 10. Recent games include Super Mario Bros. Wonder, October 2023, Pikmin 4. They also worked on New Super Mario Bros. U and U Deluxe, I believe. So with Wonder still relatively fresh and selling strong, 16 million plus units, there's no full new 2D Mario expected this year. A Switch 2 Enhanced Edition or DLC, the Switch 2 edition including DLC, right, is very likely, especially for Mario's 40th anniversary celebration. And if this is a direction I'm leaning heavily towards, but not exclusively towards. Okay. You guys have heard me mention it on the show before that I think it would be fantastic if they literally did the entirety of Super Mario Brothers in the Wonder art style with Wonder Flowers. You're talking 32 plus new levels, but they could also go many directions. The Koopa kids could show up and we could have 8 different worlds with each of them. There's so many different possibilities. And I think that the big thing for more Wonder content in my mind is get us just a little bit better boss fights. All right. Put a little more love into the boss fights and give us more of the special. Is that what it's called? The special world or whatever? That was so fun where you had to use all the badges or whatnot. Like, or all the different, what was it? Yeah. The different badges. That was so much fun. Like, I want more of that. I definitely want more of that. So taking a look at chat real quick. Nadine says, I love 2D Mario, but we're going to need to get a new 3D Mario every 8 years going forward. That's a great question. And there I don't know if it came out of a financial, like an investors meeting or what, but there were some recent quotes from Furukawa talking about like development cycles and how they're looking to make them shorter, potentially making smaller games, and they're looking into this kind of stuff. And so I don't know how much longer we would have to make or have to wait. I don't know, like I said, if it's going to end up being some kind of a 3D Mario remake, maybe Sunshine 2, maybe they do 3D Mario All-Stars again, Switch 2 edition with Sunshine. I keep saying Sunshine, Galaxy 2. That would be fantastic, because it would give everybody the opportunity to pick that game up again or just do the upgrade path. Now that I'm like honestly thinking about this, it would be a great move for the 40th anniversary, and it gives people more Mario, and playing these games at like 120 frames. So that might be something too. So let's see. Joe, what's up, Joe? Joe says, well, Little Birdie told me that the Odyssey team are the ones working on Donkey Kong games, so maybe that will fill the 3D Mario void. Yeah, exactly what we're talking about right now. And you have to remember a few things when it comes to this particular team. They trust this team to put out the kind of product that's going to sell. And I can tell you from the little bit that I played Donkey Kong Bonanza, I really do think this game is going to sell. And I think there is a very real possibility that Nintendo is viewing this as kind of their 3D like platformer for the potential future. Like, I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, and I like what I feel like I'm really seeing online with a lot of the conversations. Like, even I watched one of Johnny Bo's videos, and he talked about how he wished Nintendo had put out another game, but I really think they're trying to be strategic with what they are releasing so that third parties have a chance, because historically third parties don't sell that well with Nintendo fans. Like, a lot of us are here to play Mario, to play Donkey Kong, to play Kirby, to play Pikmin, Splatoon, Animal Crossing. But the Switch 2 is the best chance for third parties really since the GameCube. I mean, I know the Wii had a big, like a ton of units out there, but third parties, I mean, if you had a Wii and a 360 or a PS3, were you playing Call of Duty on your Wii? Of course not. Were you playing Madden on your Wii? No way. So, oh, I see poor Joey is getting harassed about Donkey Kong. I'm excited for you too, Joey. I am excited for you too. So, don't listen to mean old Nate. No, I'm just kidding. But Joey says, side note, I'm so excited for Donkey Kong Bonanza. I've told my wife she should try. Wait, nope. I'm not reading that out loud. You almost got me, Joey. That was crazy. I almost had to put the warning on this episode. Thanks a lot for that. Let's see. Samuel says, not having OLED is such a drag. My Steam Deck, my Switch 1, and even my PS Vita is OLED. I didn't think it mattered, but it does. I play a lot of my Switch docked on my new OLED, and I love it. It makes me want to play. It makes me want to play on the TV. I've enjoyed a ton handheld as well, though. I don't want to say I haven't, but I do love the richer blacks and the brighter colors for sure. Taking a look at chat, Joe says it's crazy because after Odyssey, it's hard to be optimistic on how that can be topped. Very true. Very true. But again, I think they're positioning Donkey Kong in a perfect time. You know, like I was saying, how Johnny was like, "Oh, I wish there was more." I think everybody's ready to purchase another Switch game, right? We're like less than 2 weeks out from Donkey Kong. It's perfectly timed. I think Nintendo knows. I trust them. I know what I think they know what they're doing when it comes to this, and so I think they're given the opportunity to get more Switches out there for people that maybe didn't want to pull the trigger on Mario Kart. Now they have a 3D platformer, first party 3D platformer, and I think it's going to sell well. It's a solid game. So Attack the Backlog, from what I played anyway, it's solid. Galaxy 2 with mouse controls included. There you go. Well, they could add mouse controls to Galaxy 1, even like if they wanted. You know, there's a lot that they could do with the Switch 2 version of 3D All Stars, which I mean, I understand it's not ideal. Everybody wants to play a brand new Mario, but it may be the kind of situation where a 3D Mario is absolutely a system seller, and they want to make sure that, you know, now that Mario Kart's out of the way, like I think 3D Mario, Animal Crossing, potentially Splatoon are all going to be, even Smash, are all going to be very very strategically placed in their release order to help, you know, continue moving hardware. And they've got to be able to get the systems back into the wild again. And so it's an interesting time because we haven't seen a real healthy Nintendo, or a Nintendo like this, where third parties have a real shot on their console, that they're coming off of a huge success with their previous console. And they know that their fans want first party games, but they also want to see third parties thrive. And so it's going to be a bit of a dance. And I don't know that a lot of us are going to love that dance initially, because we all want our first party Nintendo games. But I think there's some necessary moves taking place so that everybody can thrive on the Switch too. So it's you know, it's just going to be one of those things. Attack the Backlog proving me wrong by saying I was playing Scarface on my Wii. Well, there you go. There you go. Cryptic says, I love Mario, but these days I get more excited for Zelda and Smash, and I don't even and even now with how good Dread was, Metroid games. Yes. Yeah, there's so much to look forward to. And for me, I'm just like, you know what, we're just gonna have to be patient. Like, it doesn't matter like what we like say at the end of the day, they're gonna come out when they come out, you know? And I've been playing Mario Kart World like crazy. I am so into that game. You guys, I also want to let everybody know, keep an eye on n64josh.com, because we're gonna be tracking hype trials on once a month. We're going to spend a month on one track so that we can all get really, really good at it. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be happening. The post will be up this week. I'm hoping tomorrow or Wednesday at the latest. But like, I'm getting back into time trials now. I'm trying to finish Knockout Tour and then unlock a mirror, and I keep getting sucked into time trials to the point that I'm playing on the couch and Jasmine's like, yo, not time trials again. Like, I'm sorry. I love it. I just love it so much. So I want to get over to the chat here. Cryptic says it's weird we get a 2D and 3D Zelda more frequently than Mario. So yes, and I think I'm going to get into why that is. So we talked about 2D Mario and what could possibly happen there. On screen right now, you're seeing Super Mario 35. We are going to see some, Mario Maker 2. They're going to showcase some of that. I'm looking at the old Direct, right? Well, Super Mario Maker 3 also comes from the same group that does 2D Mario, which is Nintendo EPD Group 10. Their past games include Super Mario Maker and Mario Maker 2, 2015 and 2019. It's a 4-year development cycle there. They did have Wonder from 2019 to 2023, another 4 years. So with all of the assets already done for Switch, maybe it doesn't take quite as long to do a Mario Maker, and then they, whatever additions that they make. This is an ideal candidate for Switch 2 with potential Joy-Con mouse input and modern social sharing tools. Likely in early development. Expect an announcement in late 2025 to early 2026. Late 2025, I mean, we could say the 40th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers, which is September 13th, sometime around that Direct. Now, keep in mind, when they did the Direct for 35, they pushed it, but we also had to deal with the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. So, we still got a very solid 35th anniversary for Mario. So that's why I'm not super worried about how much Mario we're going to get. I think it's going to be a Mario saturation by the time we get this Direct that talks about what's happening for Super Mario 40th anniversary. I don't think they're going to slow down. I think they're going to, I do think it's going to be a fantastic year for Mario fans. It's just, there may be an announcement or a teaser for a 3D Mario, but it may be quite a ways out, similar to what they did with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Remember, we saw that trailer, even Breath of the Wild, and then it was years before that game came out. So taking a look here, Nadine Nay says, it's just hard for me to get excited about 5-year-old ports this time around from third party. That novelty was crazy during Switch 1. So first party is where I'm at. And that's a great point. That is super valid, especially for somebody like you who games on Xbox as well as the Switch. So it's completely valid. Totally valid. The cool thing this time around is it's not entirely ports, right? We have is it Dust Blood? Is that the name? You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's something new that is coming out. And there are plenty of remakes and ports and that kind of stuff. I totally get it. I'm having fun with Street Fighter. I tried to play Cyberpunk on last night. Or Saturday night, hooked the Switch up to the TV, got my headphones, my Corsair headphones that I just love. I put in Cyberpunk and I got a notification on the TV. I could hear the audio. The TV just said invalid format with this little ball bouncing with a ball bouncing between it. And I was like, this is strange. Sure enough, there's been some update to the LG C4 TV recently that Cyberpunk no longer works. And from what people have found, apparently it's outputting at 165 hertz. I believe that's the correct terminology. Don't at me if I got it wrong. And that's for PC only. And so something happened during an update, apparently on the TV. And so I know people have been putting in tickets everywhere trying to get to the bottom of this, because Mario Kart World still works, but I hear there are 120. So some of the 120 hertz or FPS areas in Welcome Tour also have issues with the C4. So there's something going on between the Switch 2, the C4, and some of these games. So not sure how that's going to get fixed, but yeah. So I went to go play some more. I wanted to really immerse myself in Cyberpunk and not just play here at my setup. And I couldn't. It wouldn't do it. So it was kind of a bummer. But I totally get what Nate is saying about wanting more than just third-party ports. And I think that's where Johnny's at as well. you know, I mean, I have Street Fighter, shout out to Hitman, on my Xbox. But I'm also there's something nostalgic for me to play Street Fighter on a Nintendo console. And so I'm glad to have it on my on my Switch 2 as well. But again, I totally get it. People are after new experiences, and they want Nintendo experiences, first party experience. So completely get it. Joey says, sorry for my comment. Oh, Joey, it's like a game. It's like a game to like. I'm always playing this with Nady Nay and with Brian. If you can get me to say something, it's kind of like you win, right? So don't ever view it as a negative. It's all in good fun. So don't sweat it, my friend. Let's see here. Let's see. Zanita D says, I need them to work on these terabyte express cards. Those games are eating my storage. Yeah, no question there. No question there. Nady Nay says, I'm excited for Madden and first party over old third party. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, same thing. And I'm really looking forward to Madden making its way to Switch 2. Like really excited about that. So Joey says, when's Mario movie coming? Guaranteed they come out with a Mario game the same time. They didn't for Mario, the first Mario movie. And the sales of Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe went through the roof. That's the Mario movie, I would say, is almost solely responsible for how well New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe sold because of the timing. And so it's one of those situations that I don't know if they'll have something out so that people can already purchase, or if it's something they will release a bit later, like they did. I mean, Wonder came out later than the movie as well. So, well, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. Like we don't know. What would make sense to us is like, I don't know. Joey says, I missed the Mario 35 fad. Oh, it was so good. So good. It was a great great time. Hopefully, I'm hoping they do Mario 40. Nady Nay says, honestly, I wonder if Nintendo is even concerned about co-marketing the games and movies together like that. And they didn't seem to be. It's more, to me, it seems like it's more about brand recognition and just getting Mario into the household and getting people talking about him, and then, looking for ways to interact with that media. That's what it seems like. Attack the backlog with the two, I'm just going to say dollar, GPB, the $2 super chat says, got to catch some Z's, dude. Awesome to catch your live. Yo, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Have a good one, my friend, if you are still hanging out. Let's see. And looking at Joey's saying, like, I walked out after the Mario movie and all I wanted to do was play Mario games. I think it goes hand in hand. You're not wrong. I just watched while on vacation, I watched the Tetris movie again and literally went to the GBA NSO and played that because it was all about, the movie's all about that game. And so, like, I totally get it. I think there's something inside most of us as gamers that, like, when we see something on the big screen or, watch a documentary or anything like that, we're like, yo, I want to play this. I know. I mean, it even rings true with like I see Ninja Turtles and I'm like, yo, I want to play a Turtles game. You know what I mean? Like, I totally get it. And I think that's why us as gamers are like, why isn't there a brand new release coming out with the movie? So Sunshine says, I saw you playing Tetris. I love that. I love it. I love it. So, and Joey says, I got to watch the Tetris movie. What's it on? It's on Apple TV. It's an exclusive to Apple TV. So you can probably purchase it or potentially rent it from like, Amazon or one of those others. But if you have Apple TV, and I think Apple TV is one of the cheapest, even if you just sign up for like, I think they do a 3-month like trial or something. So Taking another look at chat here, Nadine Nay says Donkey Kong looks like a lot of people's predictions for their game of the year. Super cool to see that. I think it has the potential. I think the gameplay is there, right? The gameplay is super solid from just a little bit that I played. I'm like, yo, I can't wait. I cannot wait. If the story is cool, if the what is happening with young Pauline and all that, like, this game is really set up to be something special. So I'm really glad to see people talking about this potentially being a game of the year. Let's see. Sunshine said played Shredder's Revenge a couple weeks back with some of the girlies. It was so fun. Oh, I love that. Love that. Joey says, dang, Nintendo tweeted out about their music app, No Mario Kart World, this week. That needs to be on there ASAP. Yes. So Blake asked a question, what do you think the holiday game will be? Sorry, just got in stream. Oh, no worries. So I'm going to continue on with my list here, Blake, and we'll kind of answer that question. So we're talking about Mario Maker 3 being an ideal candidate for the Switch 2 with Joy-Con mouse input, like we talked, and then it potentially, expect an announcement late 2025, early 2026. The next list of games is Mario sports games, right? As far as the studios go, we've got Camelot for tennis and golf. We got Next Level for strikers. And then going back to like the sports mix with Square Enix. So who knows there who could do the next Mario sports title? There's no confirmed project yet, but one of these teams is likely to ship a new Mario sports title in the Switch 2 life cycle. Strikers or baseball seem like likely returns based on some of the research. I don't know. Like, I think baseball would be fantastic. There's signs pointing towards baseball with the Mariners having Nintendo logos on their what's the term? When they're out of town, I think there's it's on the tip of my tongue, but you guys, they're away uniforms. There we go. For their away uniforms, they have a Switch 2 logo, a Nintendo Switch 2 logo on the jerseys. And maybe something on the hat. Like, I don't know, most of you guys know this. I wear a Seattle's Mariners hat most of the time. I wore it on the trip and I need to get a new one because it got a little bit dirty. But I'm hoping that they do that their hats have a Nintendo logo. I would be so stoked on that. I haven't looked. I went into like a lids and they were like, we don't got anything yet. So I'm just gonna have to wait and see. So Blake says, I honestly thought the next sports title would be Sluggers, but something sport feels super next spring is likely. Yeah, it's very possible. Very possible. So just kind of taking a look. Okay. I like, again, guys, I went, this is the most work I've put into one of these Mario Monday shows, but I really wanted to kind of like just look at the facts of what we know and then try to draw a conclusion from it. So new 3D Mario, probably 2026 or later, based on Donkey Kong, unless there's something happening on a side studio that they're able to put some other teams on. And I'm not saying they can't. I mean, they could. It's possible. But if it was going to be EPD Group 8, then it's a ways out because it's been all hands on deck for Donkey Kong Bonanza. 3D Mario, like DLC, or what if like a spin-off? What if they say, hey, Super Mario Galaxy 2 plus Bowser's Fury 2, right? Something along those lines is possible based on the fact that they released Mario 3D World with Bowser's Fury. Like, there is something like that. There is a reality where that could take place. new 2D Mario, like brand new 2D Mario, like unless it's Wonder 2, which they would have a ton of assets for, probably not before like 2027. It's probably a ways out. Is my gut feeling. Again, unless it's Wonder 2 and they reuse those assets. Because we have seen in the past, like with Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2, they were able to utilize those assets on the Wii. And I could be mistaken, but I think a game that went from being a potential DLC ended up becoming a full game in Galaxy 2. I don't remember off the top of my head if that was the case, but I want to say it's a possibility that ended up being what happened. They just realized they had so much that it didn't need to be DLC. But again, don't quote me on that because I'm just going off of memory there. So Wonder 2 could potentially be a thing, but I also think the likelihood of a Wonder DLC Switch 2 edition is probably much more likely that is the case. Now, Mario Maker 3, again, a lot of the assets are already there, but a lot of the assets were already there for Mario Maker 2, and that also took quite some time, so that's just another thing to think about. Like if they had all those assets, but it still took 4 years, do they still need another 4? And we're only 2 from the release of Wonder. So is Mario Maker 3 a reality? I don't know. The mouse controls really make me think that it is a possibility. I don't think we would see both. And I do wonder, going back to Blake's question, if the Switch 2 edition of Wonder is the holiday title. Don't know that for sure, obviously, but I wouldn't be completely surprised if that wasn't the case. Now, does that seem a bit weak? Yes, because for the majority of us, we're just going to be spending like $10, or it's going to be part of NSO, and we're just going to enjoy, the upgrade into Wonder. Now, if it's a significant DLC, something like I've mentioned, maybe it won't be included in NSO, and we'll have to spend, I guess it's not 10, it's 20, right? I believe it's a $20 increase. That's what we're seeing with Kirby Forgotten Lands anyway. So it would be a $20 increase. But again, if I'm anticipating DLC for Wonder to be significant, even more than what we saw or are going to be seeing in Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. So, that's one possibility. Because I mean, we do have to remember there are Pokemon games coming out this holiday, and I think Air Riders is around the same time as well. So, I'm again pure speculation, and I'm seeing chat, and Nate says, "Goodness, if a Switch 2 version of a game being a holiday game is telling me, Nate, leave that Switch 2 in the cart." Uh-oh. I mean, and again, I would understand it. I'm just curious where they're going to play. If Mario 35th is any kind of an indicator on what they're going to do with Mario 40th, then we are going to have about a year of Mario releases. So everything's got to fit somewhere. And they had no problem doing remakes, remasters, and Bowser's Fury in the 35th, as well as Mario 35, the Game & Watch, all that kind of stuff. They even got Splatoon involved. I think it's a very real possibility we'll see Mario Kart World involved with the 40th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers. And so I think it's going to be a fantastic year for Mario fans. I just don't know where they're going to place it all. Like, I just don't know where it's all going to be placed. And Film Watcher saying Mario Movie 2, hopefully there's some kind of announcement during that trailer. So, taking a look here at the rest of the just kind of the notes I have. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So I kind of want to like just present some questions to you guys. Like, is Nintendo pushing Donkey Kong as the new platforming flagship, at least for now? Like, are in their eyes, is Donkey Kong Bonanza the 3D platformer that is replacing Mario until the next Mario is ready? Curious your thoughts on that. All right. And you guys, if you're watching or listening after the fact, do feel free to answer. Does the long wait mean Nintendo is planning a bigger leap for the next 3D Mario? Like, are they... I can't remember. I know for sure we learned that Mario Kart World was initially a Switch 1 game, and then they put it on Switch 2. What if Donkey Kong is a similar thing? I don't know that we've seen the developer interviews yet. I don't think they've hit the their blog, but I wonder if that's the case also. If Donkey Kong was initially supposed to be a Switch 1 game. So track with me on this for a little bit, okay? If it was supposed to be a Switch 1 game, maybe they've had to put a little extra time into it, getting it ready for Switch 2, but maybe that hasn't taken up as much of the team as, you know, if there was a lot of it ready to go as a Switch 1 title. I again, just speculating. Maybe that allows for a 3D Mario to be released a little bit sooner than later, potentially, right? Blake says, I'd be fine with it if they give us Mario Maker 3. I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm sure next Mario 3D is probably next year. I'm fine with that. I think there's one more surprise exclusive for Switch 2, and I hope that is the case. And, you know, we've also got Metroid Prime 4 coming out sometime this year. Like, I sometimes get the impression, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I sometimes feel like if there's not a Zelda or a Mario game coming out on Switch, and I'm talking mainline, not like Hyrule Warriors, which is another one coming out this year, that a lot of times people view it as like there's not much coming out. That's kind of the impression I get from like the tweets I see and just the conversations and whatnot, that like if there's not a new 3D Mario or a mainline Zelda or even a 2D Mario, what's being released, right? It's like those games are like what really bring the entire community together, and then everything else is a bit niche. Now, don't get me wrong, Animal Crossing brings a lot of the community together, as well as Splatoon and Smash, some of their staple titles. But you know, and the other thing Blake says, like there's enough as it is at this point, though maybe even Splatoon Raiders, but I think it comes out next year. It's almost an exclusive each month. So we shall see, hopefully this week. Yeah, and there are rumored, I keep seeing all the YouTube thumbnails about the potential of a direct, right? Like we see them every week, rumored direct. So going through just these, just kind of some of these talking points here. Is Mario Maker 3 the creative, like, killer app for Switch 2? Like, is the reason they abandoned 2 so quickly because they knew what was going to be coming with the Switch 2? The mouse controls, all that kind of stuff. Did they look at Mario Maker and go, we need to create something that will make the next game better? And the mouse is where they landed? Potentially. Again, pure speculation. Would Wonder DLC be enough for the 40th anniversary, or is it underwhelming? Where are you guys at with that? Like, I think Nate kind of answered, and he said if that's the holiday title, I won't be pulling the trigger on the Switch 2. So I get it. Which Mario sports title should come up next? And you guys already kind of said, I think we all kind of agree, baseball. We haven't seen it yet. I would personally like to see some like Switch 2 updates to the other sports titles. and like true Switch 2 updates. So a little bit of DLC for Aces, for Strikers, and for Super Rush. Because I really enjoy those games, and I would love to see them kind of get a bit of a second life, if you will. So we'll just have to wait and see if that's even a possibility. And then the last question is our support teams like 1UP and NST helping prep the next wave of Nintendo games quietly behind the scenes? So again, there is that possibility that some of these support teams have stepped up and are putting out potentially full, a full 3D Mario. We don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. And I would have to look and see what are some of the other projects that they are working on, if we even know that information. Because not a lot of this is easy to get out of Nintendo. I don't even think it seemed like they didn't even want to share who was developing Donkey Kong Bonanza. And so that they're real tight-lipped around the around who develops what and what they're working on. So we get to speculate and do shows like this, just chatting about it. That being said, I'm going to take a few more looks at chat here. Joey says, rumored direct this week. There was one last week too, and the week before. Yes, exactly. Blake says, be on the lookout for the Nintendo app. They will announce the direct on it. Mark my word, every 2 weeks on a Tuesday, they've made a big announcement going back to June. So let's see. Okay, we'll make sure to be watching. Film Watcher says Ocarina of Time 3D just got added to Nintendo Music. Ooh, that's fantastic. Love that. And Nadine Nay says, blows my mind that all the Metroid games combined in the franchise haven't sold as much as Mario Odyssey. And that is crazy. I love the fact, though, that like Metroid Dread, probably not huge development costs there, and having sold 3 million was probably more than enough to justify a sequel. So that honestly really excites me. And I mean, overall, like, I'm with you guys that are really needing a 3D Mario. Like, believe me, I get it. I would love one as well. After playing Donkey Kong, I'm really excited for this game. I think it's going to really scratch that itch for a while. I know it's not Mario, but I think we're going to be very surprised. I think it's where I think it's going to kind of land is like in that Luigi's Mansion 3 kind of territory, where it's like it is an absolutely killer game. Not everybody's gonna pick it up because it's Donkey Kong and not Mario. But I think word of mouth on this one is going to kind of spread like wildfire, and I think it's going to do very well, and I think it's coming out at a perfect time for the Switch 2, and getting more consoles back out in the wild, getting the next run available for people to pick up the system, and to have that 3D platformer. That, I mean, it does feel like a Mario game, no question there. It feels like a Mario game. So that's going to do it for this episode of Mario Monday. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I appreciate every single one of you. And remember, play it loud.